Good morning, everyone. Dan Miller, Historical Solutions LLC. A surprise video today. I just thought this would be a better way for me to communicate what I want to say today than a blog post or some kind of email or text or whatever. No, this is not Americanism Redux. This is not on the 250 River with Dr. Dan. We are at the Columbia Club still, and although it's the top of the morning, and behind me you see a little bit of a fragment of the Indiana Soldiers and Sailors Monument as the dawn starts to unfold. So, good morning. It's great to be with you. Here's what I want to say real quick. This is about POTUS 47, POTUS 47, POTUS 45, Donald Trump, as we move forward into these early days of the second term, the second non-consecutive term. Now, here's why we're here today. We're here today because of this guy, Alexis Tocqueville. This particular book is called The Man Who Understood Democracy, The Life of Alexis de Tocqueville. We're here for this. So Tocqueville researches his book called Democracy in America, and here is my copy, by the way. It's a monster, right? And look at that, there you go. It's 2 volumes actually in one. Normally it's 2 separate volumes, but I purchased one that was together. Tocqueville's work is considered groundbreaking, trailblazing, and an act of genius, which I agree with each and every one of those statements. He and a companion come from France to the United States in the early 1830s, 1831-32. They travel around the United States, read things, see things, hear things, talk to people from kind of all walks of life. Not everybody, of course, but they get a pretty good slice of American life across the states and across the Union as it existed in that time, which is the tail end of the first Andrew Jackson administration, POTUS 7, who I regard as the first Donald Trump. Donald Trump is the second Andrew Jackson. So it's during the first Trump, stay with me, during the first Trump administration of the first Trump in the early 1830s that Tocqueville comes over and does his observations. And then during the second term goes home back to France and begins his writings, his reflections, his analysis, and finally the product of that monster book that I submitted or that I showed to you. This is a big deal because he comes back to France with a pretty optimistic view of American democracy, the American system, the American way, the American people. The idea being, is there something that can be transferred from the United States to France, or is there nothing at all? He comes back with a qualified yes. There's a lot of things that go into that qualified yes, as you might imagine, but my point being that in his immersion into the rhyme of the first Trump, Andrew Jackson, POTUS number 7, Tocqueville observes things that are system-wide, nation-wide. He's not in here to talk about a particular candidate or a policy or one side versus another. He's here to reflect on the system and the people and the culture wide, and then go back to France. And he, as I said, comes back with a qualified optimism, a qualified yes on things that need to be replicated and are important to replicate for a democratic system, which is new to the world. That's a very new thing by the early and mid 1830s. So here's my point. Take heart. Take heart. Regardless of the side that you're on or no side at all, take heart that in that world someone could visit, someone astute, someone very insightful, someone could visit, watch, learn, and leave with a relatively positive impression for things to replicate going forward. You may not think that's the case. I don't know what you think regarding that possibility today, but that is the potential of a rhyme. Would we have a modern version, a 2025 version of Alexis Tocqueville who would visit, listen, learn, and then go back and leave with a relatively optimistic, a cautiously optimistic outlook? Perhaps we would. So it happened with the first Trump, Andrew Jackson, and there's a potential it could happen with the second Andrew Jackson, the current Donald Trump. But again, remember, Tocqueville was looking across the United States at the entirety of people. He had some negative things to say, but he had, again, to repeat, some cautiously optimistic, reasonably positive things to say too. That's encouraging. That's encouraging to me, at least. So I was talking about this with an alumnus, with an alumnus and a friend yesterday, and shared with him this story, and I could kind of see his face brighten a little bit. And so I thought, you know what, maybe I ought to do that today. So here we are, early morning, Columbia Club, and we get to talk about Alexis Tocqueville and a potential rhyme across the United States in 2025, 2026 going forward. Thank you so much. I'm Dan Miller, Historical Solutions LLC. I'll see you soon.